Objects can be considered as point particles when drawing free body diagrams. So you should understand that objects can be considered as point particles from which the forces acting on them originate. For example, we have Moggy, little cat here. Meow, says Moggy. If we consider Moggy as being a point, then the forces go from his or her centre of mass. So what are the forces acting here? We have the force of gravity acting down and the reaction from the surface acting up. There's the force of gravity acting down and there's the reaction acting up. We go from the centre of Moggy. So we can consider Moggy as being a point. So here we have. So this is Moggy. But the point needs to be big enough to see. So we usually draw like a small circle or a large dot or something. Let's draw the forces again. The force of gravity and the force of reaction. Do we know it's Moggy? Meow! Yes, it is Moggy. Here's an example that is often used. We have a dragging force to the right. Therefore, we must have friction pulling to the left. But usually, or sometimes, the friction is drawn along the base surface here, which is not through the centre of the mass. We have the weight, which is acting downwards, and we have the reaction force, which is acting upwards. So this is one way of drawing it, but it's not the best way, it's not the simplest way. We should try to draw this as a point. So let's reduce it to a point. Let's move the friction to there, and really the surface has no bearing on this, so we can get rid of this. So that diagram that we had before can be reduced to this, where we have a point with the forces originating from that point. Just as an afterthought, what happens if the forces do not actually go through the centre point? Well, let's take Moggy here. We've got the force from his head moving to the right, from his feet moving to the left. So what will happen here? Well, I think you know what's going to happen. We're going to take Moggy for a spin. Meow! Poor Moggy. So remember, objects can be considered as point particles, and the forces originate from the points. And there's Moggy. He's all right after all.